I'll try and get back a little bit. Okay, great. Not bad. All right. Okay, great. Very good. Great. Onegaishimasu.
Onegaishimasu.
All right, good. We'll just loosen a little bit. Yeah. Okay, just bring the arms into it a little bit. Just pulsing the fingers to the ground. You. Oh, don't go this way. That's a bad idea. Okay. And just out to the sides. Okay, to the top. Okay, to the front. Okay, just go on one side. Release the arm. Bring it to the center. Just do a little bit side to side. Front and back. Oh, that's really dangerous. Really dangerous. Back. Back to the center. Finding the toes. Great. Just rolling out the wrists, one over the other. Change in direction. Roll out the elbows. And change. Okay, on the shoulders. And forwards. Okay, big exercise to the back. And forwards. Open up the chest. Take it to a rotation. Great, rotating up the elbow. And roll the hips. And change. Good, working the legs. Stitching into the center, pressing to the knee, rolling up through the back. Okay, great. Rolling up feet, circling the leg, the ankle. Change direction. Circle the leg. Change direction. Roll out the hip. Change direction to the front. Right, shake it out a little bit. To the other side, under the ankle. Change. The leg. Change direction. And roll the hip. Change direction. Okay, just raising up the leg, point the toes to the front, hold it, release it, out, release it, out, and release it into the sides, point, release it, point, release it, release it, and then to the back, pointing out, incline the body forwards, release it, release, and this one, yeah, go, and the other side, to the front, and release, and up, and release it, and in, release, out to the side, release, out, release, out, ooh, there we go. Okay, release it to the back. Release. Release it. Last one. Right. Yeah, just roll up, shake out the legs a little bit. Go, right. Okay, we'll just do a little bit of body swing. So just with the vertical, swing through. Nice and heavy in the feet. Knees releasing all the time. Okay, great. Keep going. Nice. Okay, great. Good. Okay, great. Just play with this movement a little bit. Think about pulsing the top of the movement and the bottom of the movement. They're kind of going down to the ground and they're coming out of the ground. So look something like this. You kind of pulse it, and then release it. And the same coming out. Keep the knees on lock. And think about pulsing, pulse up and release it. You can do like 3 or 4. You just go through it, but every so often just allow yourself to do it and bring it back straight away. Do it and bring it back. So there's a kind of pulse. You could actually pulse through any part of the movement, but the top and the bottom are good to do, especially the ground one is a good one because where the movement comes from, nice and clear. Nice. Good, great. Great. Okay, good. Do the kind of midpoint in this case. So it's where the hands are kind of coming down, and our classic position in a sense is this kind of tiny angle, kind of that kind of feeling. and just feel that again you can swing through it, but every so often just allow yourself to hit the ground here with the hip and the hand basically in. So again, just work away into it, and again you can use that kind of pulls, and you can use this kind of settling in the middle part of it. So that kind of feeling, or you can just swing through as well. Just explore feeling of the hands is hitting the ground. As the hips also gonna settle. That's nice. Okay, the main thing to look for in this one, although the knees are released, but watch this as I go into the Tanahenko kind of position. This happen. So there's a kind of impact up through the body. Now, if you feel that happening, really allow yourself to drop, drain through, and then feel it. The hands just settle into the ground, but that will kind of will pass back up. So you don't want the arm to basically create this whiplash through the system. So feel that all the weight goes into the feet. Now there's a like a reverberation up through the body, if you can feel it, but you don't want it to like shock the face basically. You want it to just drain up again through the back in a sense. It basically means the softness, the front of the body needs to be soft, not hard, which is quite a difficult thing to do with the arms out in front of the body, and the tendency is to do that. So think about softening the front side of the body, especially the face, the neck, the pecs, all that kind of area. Kind of soft and the back full. Great. That's nice. Good. So that's it. We'll just work a little bit Tanahenko. Just play with this feeling. So yesterday we're working at this kind of elbow rolling down. Very similar movement. Just allow yourself to roll the arm down. Less of a kind of spiral move. It's more of a direct kind of feeling down. Elbow, hip. The main things, feel the elbow and the hip are really being pulled together, so that the elbow and the hand get pulled down. Down. So you can do this with one hand, with the hand on the center. Not really a big movement, just the hip engaging, settling the hip, and the hand settling onto the ground. You can do it with one, you can do it with both. You can do it with the front hand only, you can do it with the back hand only. Just feel that you sink and settle the hand with the hip. And really the same feeling you have with the sword. So that same feeling you have when you cut with the sword, dung, it's exactly the same feeling. Hand positions are a little bit different, obviously, but that feeling of draining, sinking, settling, and extending, reaching out, it's the same, totally the same. Nice. Just one exercise here. Just play with the other hand. You're off well, you do this with the front hand, right? So what a lot of us do with, especially Tanahenko, is the power goes in the hand, right? Like with the same we do with the bokken. The power goes in the hand, and this like tips over the front. Again, it's the same as like this exercise, and the hand, the body gets this kind of shock. So just play with this hand here. Now, if you think about this, if I put power in the hand and I strike the hand here, this automatically will rise up. The elbow will rise up, and this will come out. That will kind of happen in the body almost automatically. The only way I can really do this is if I let the elbow drain down first. So think of the connection here. The shoulders are shrugging down into the back, right? So, and you want the elbow to be heavy. and the hand settles into that heaviness. So allow here the wrist to be loose, super loose, and allow the elbow to be heavy. And then the hand can actually be can still be loose. Obviously later we put extension in it, but you don't want the movement to go hand first, basically. You want actually like elbow down and down. Again, it's the same if you think about sword work. Rather than cutting with the hands and the tip of the sword, you want to cut with the body first, basically. With the elbow drops in, and then the hand kind of follows. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And just explore this hand kind of on different areas of the arm. So you can still do it like with the hand, but feel that the elbow's always like the primary, the heaviest in terms of that connection. You can just play with both sides a little bit. You can also just go through it. Feel that isn't the thing that's doing it. It's the hip talking to the elbow is. And the hands are just relaxed in this one. That's it. Yeah, good. Yeah, great. So, and then just allow yourself to really find the extension again. So if you think about the hands like kind of spreading, the fingers spreading, and there's a few kind of things people say about this, like being able to hold a water drop in the center of the hand and all this kind of stuff. I just think about the hands basically spreading from the inside of the palm. So the fingertips, the palm, everything just spreading out, and you end up with this kind of like wide dish of a hand. Obviously there's different finger positions and you'll get different variations sometimes, but all the time that the thing that you want is a sense of spreading the palm basically out towards the fingers, and the fingers can be in that position, they can be in that position. It's not actually important, but the feeling of the hand actually opening from the inside, that's really that's where I want to kind of feel actually happening, rather than the fingers doing the movement basically. So if you think all the time you're looking for the center of the movement, the center of the part, in this case the center of the hand obviously is the palm, so I want the movement coming out from the center. I don't want to feel that I'm in the fingertips and I'm kind of clawing, or I'm kind of grabbing with the fingertips. I want to feel the fingertips basically spreading and opening. Okay. And this is a little bit of a subtle one, not really possible to show. You kind of need to feel this in. Just play with the wrist here. This play with 3 positions in this case, which is like loose in the hand. Tense, like I'm trying to make a fist, and I'm really screwing the fist in like this kind of power. So I'm bringing the bicep in, and everything's kind of curled open this way. And then think of the opposite one, or think of the opposite of that, which is like everything extends out. And again, the elbow, the back of the inside of the elbow, the crease, and the backside open and extend, and the fingertips also open and extending this way. And just play with the hand. You can also do you can grab different parts of the arm, but play with these 3 positions. Like I'm disconnected, loose, everything's loose. Feel what that feels like in that contact point with this hand. Fixed, strong, contracted, and then open, extended, and hopefully connected with the arm. That kind of feeling, and just feel what that feels like down the wrist as well. Should feel totally different. So it should feel like a different arm, hopefully. That. Yeah. Yeah. So. Good. Yeah. Good. And then just play with here. We'll go into Tanhenko just as the movement, but think about it again, really opening that connection, open the extension. So from the palms out, and then rolling into it. You've got the center line. find the extension, and then roll out of it forwards with that kind of cork. You drop the arm back down, roll in, extension, roll out of it, drop the arm. So really allow yourself to take your time and connect all the body during that movement. So you've got lots of stage, in this case, the arms extended out, finding the center line, rolling back, rolling it, and then the drop of the arms back. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 movements. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back down. Oh, Adrian's got animals too. Animals at the feet. Okay, great. Hello. Okay, great. And again, just use this kind of pulsing thing where it's like I start the movement and it just pulse back, just pulse back, just pull back. Now this pulse in a way is like checking the connector. I'm trying to feel the connections on. So you can do it again, any part of that, those 4 movements. You can do it here, here, here. You can do it here, 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 here. From here, this. You can do it here. So any time where you're changing the relationship between the hand and the hip, and it doesn't even need to be. It doesn't need to be a big move. So it's like I'm going to go. I'm not going to settle. There's quite a lot of places you could do this anywhere in the movement, but the main ones are as you go into settling, that position, and as you come out of settling, so as you go into movement. So those, and you're just looking to don't. And you're using that kind of pulse to go, check the system, check it, go. Looking everything kind of talking to each other. And in the right order as well. So if you think about, against the only thing you really need to think about is like center to periphery. That's basically the only real thing you need to consider. Everything should kind of follow from that basically. So great. Okay, great. Great. Okay, great. We'll just open this movement out, more of a kind of kinanagari form. So there's only one real difference in this case, that I'm not going to go into a closed Tanahenko position and then open it out. So you can do this, but this is basically like trying to work a kind of kihon. And if I try to speed this up, it doesn't really fit. So when you do this one, allow yourself to kind of be a little bit more open with this, because as you come into this movement, I want to be opening out already into this movement. Yeah. But what happens is that as you're coming back, you're going to open the hips out. So you've got this movement happening. So I never really find that settled position in the Tanahenko. So it allows us to kind of roll through it there. Here, roll and open through it. So you're passing through that position, but I don't fix in it as you go. So it's going to roll back, roll back. And the hand, but obviously the hand position is kind of important. We do different things with it. Actually, that the feeling that you open out the center line and spread it into the hands, or open out the hip and spread it into the hands. That's really what you're looking for. So feel free to kind of experiment with the hands. Don't get stuck in just that kind of tiny and go position in a sense. Okay. Okay. Well, so we'll play a little bit with doing the arms wrong in a sense, or not. This isn't wrong, but it's not quite it, right? So when you do this, just focus on this. Like this is like linear movement. So I go like here, and then I do this. I go here, and then I do this. I go here, and I do this. 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 Right, this is really linear, right? Feels linear. There's no real spiral in it. Although I can obviously always kind of spiral through the joint, but it's nothing really happening through the joints. Right? So play with that a little bit. Now the other one is also like the elbow comes out from the body, so it goes in and then it goes out. It goes in, it goes out, it goes in and it goes out, in and out. Right? This is totally disconnected, right? Because if I increase this any further, I'm really just destroy. I'm taking the joint out. I've basically got like a double Sankyo grip on the body, right? So you've got this position where I'm very weak. It's like someone's trying to. If I was to tie the body together, this would be a very good way to do it, to control somebody, right? If I was to control the body, if I was trying to control the body, this would also a very good way to kind of raise someone out of the ground. So if I take that to its extreme, that and that, that's really where I don't want to work as well. So you've got these two pathways, like linear, like the elbow's kind of fixed to the body, and the elbow's doing too much. It's like, meh. It's not really happy in that position in terms of body use. Now look for the one. You play within those areas because it's important to kind of feel. Actually, that doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel strong, and also that feels kind of nothing really in it. But then look for the one which is just you're going to kind of open. You really use the elbow, right? So the elbow's being used. Now look for like this kind of feeling. So I'm trying to shrug the shoulder down basically all the time towards the back, but give the elbow also freedom to also roll in this position. The only real key is feel that the elbow is constantly down, basically. Not that it always even is down in terms of its direction, but the feeling's always down. Right? So whether it goes out that way, the feeling in it's still there, and I'm still trying to kind of roll it down as well. So just play with in this case. And again, going back to doing it in a way that's kind of simplistic or like linear. Boom. The elbow does too much, and then it just does enough, which is basically a spiral that's passing from the hand and in the forearm through the forearm. So think of it. What's the best way? Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. And then just go back to the body movement. So you can do a really simple movement. In this case, like you can also just step back with it and pull in, or you can bring the rotation in, but feel again that connection with the elbows. And again, you can, if you want, play with doing this really wrong in a sense. The elbows start to kind of do strange things, or the elbows are kind of linear and stuck, or the elbows are actually kind of free and able to kind of express that spiral out. So that kind of feeling that you're able to really roll the elbow through. So just take it into the movement. You can take it to rotation work, you can take it to turning, stepping back, stepping forwards. Really play with this, but just feel what's going on with hips, hands. So how the elbow's being used. Great, good. Okay, nice. Great. Okay, good. Grab Joe. We'll do a little bit of Joe. So now I can show this hopefully. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. Good. So we'll look at this, the kind of connection, hip, hands, and the center, and we'll take this to Hasso. So working really with this kind of figure of eight pattern. So that's where we're going to work towards, that figure of eight. But just start with this. Also good for kind of get the body warm also, and keep the body warm. Just find a grip with the Joe, about shoulder width with the grip, and just feel that the arms don't move. Just play with the center. So you can do this like big movements and basically just the hip moving, and then feel that you can really start to play with the center, so the hips are really free, and you can really feel that you can pulse through the center. So it's basically like that kind of feeling. So if you had the belt on, the both ends of the belt would basically whip the body, right? So the feeling is this can be very tight. I can really also like really tense the arms so they're in a kind of tension position, and then I can still keep the hips free, right? So you can really tense, you can even tense all the upper body, everything, but the hips are basically able to whip and snap that connection, right? So you've got tons of movement in the hip, right? So you can obviously do all these kind of movements and this kind of movement, and you can really play with the pelvis. But this key one is this sense that I can kind of whip that connection, whip that connection. Now you can see this two ways. You can see this as the center point, and that the body's doing that, or that the body's doing that around it, which is a useful one to do. Or you can also think of each hip kind of firing in one after the other. So like this hip fires in, this hip fires in, this hip, and then this hip. They're actually the same thing, but I want the center, if you think like where my zip is, I want the center to speak to one hip, bang, and then the other, bang, right? So in this case, the projection is going to be like that and that. And it happens in like, you can't really do this slow. So, but just feel that sense that you've got the center lines here, it's attaching to the hands, and then I can whip that connection in, whip that connection in. So, that's it. Yeah, good. Nice, nice. Okay, now work with the hands a little bit. You're going to release a little bit, and to make this really kind of a big movement, you kind of roll it back a little bit, roll it back, and then as you condense that movement, as you whip it, find the hands as well. So you kind of roll in, find the hands, whip it back, roll in, find the hands, whip it back, roll in, find the hands. Right? This is a really strange exercise, but it's a good one. Give it a try. Bye, Ella. Enjoy.
Yeah, I will.
Will, I know you will. Yeah, great. That's it. Yeah, good. So the main thing with this watch with this is it's the same kokyu, and it's the same with the temi work, is that the movement doesn't go to the hand, in the sense that the balance shifts out of the body. Or with kokyu work, that I'm pushing the body forward and out of structure. So this is quite easy to happen in this one. I do that, and then the hand basically pulls the body out of structure, and that creates all the tension in the body. It's gonna kind of try and hold the body up. So see if you can find one where it's actually, but the body actually stays in place, and this kind of just leaves and extends out, leaves and extends out. And if you want, you can just play with the hand center. It's the same, exactly the same. If you do a strike, you do an extension out, or if you do this with the Joe, this kind of snap, that same kind of feeling that I'm rolling through it. The problem's like, how do I engage the hip? How do I engage forward? How do I engage the hand in a strong grip? but keep that that kind of balance through the system and kind of express power. All this stuff's kind of happening, but the root of it is balance and connection work, obviously. Yeah, great. Yeah, nice. Whoosh. Okay, good. And then we'll use this a little bit again. This is a bit more of a mobility one. So just for the hip work again, we're going to go into 𝗧𝗧 movement, hopefully. Just play with here that position with the arms, so that kind of 𝘱𝘰𝘀 here. You can have the arms any position. Not really important, just that the 𝘱𝘀's kind of on the body. I'm going to use it as a guide and just play with rolling that connection. So the feedback is what happens with the end of the 𝘱𝘀, right? So what happens to the end of the 𝘱𝘀 has to come from the hip now, because I can't. Well, maybe you could if you wanted to. You could do it with the arms, obviously, but try and just track the arms to the body and really let the 𝘱𝘀, or let the hip, really talk to the 𝘱𝘀. Now that's like simple when I just take it side to side. But you can also think here about kind of rolling it as well. But just notice automatically the shoulder wants to start to try and get involved in it. Now you want the shoulder involved, but you don't want the shoulder actually creating that movement. So, and again, you've got that same idea that the center of the body speaks to one hip predominantly, right? And then it pulls it back and it speaks to the other one. Now you're obviously always communicating to both hips, but I actually want to feel later I'm able to press out to one, press out to one, press out to one. Like the hinge on a door. You're shifting the hinge in this case. Yeah, great. Good. Great. And then the problem for us again is like, how do I involve the hands in that movement without them taking over? So go now to this movement, take the 𝘱𝘀 off the body, or play with actually just kind of rolling it off the body. So the actual 𝘱𝘀, the center of the 𝘱𝘀 stays on the body or stays lightly in contact, and then allow the hand to roll out. But again, just notice it's very easy for it in this exercise. Shoulder starts to roll over, or the hand starts to lead the movement. See if you can really get the hands just follow. Just follow. If you feel like this connection's like, where is the connection in this case? Just go back to like this exercise. So I find the hip and I give the hip really all the movement, and then I allow the hip to kind of just settle in and feel that it's really in charge, basically. And if you feel the hands are really leading, just do this kind of stuff with them. Just get the movement out of the hands, basically. Get the movement out and then settle the hip and then kind of roll it. That's it. You're working this figure of 8 roll from the hip out to the hands. That's it. There we go. Oh, great. Thank you very much. Too kind. Great. So bring this now into hatha work. So obviously there's all these steps in between. You can you do this movement where the 𝘱𝘀's kind of off the body. We'll see if we can go kind of into the hatha movement. So just find the right side here. I'm going to struggle a little bit to show this, but you know the movement anyway. So just feel that you're going to kind of roll the hip through. Now the first thing is, again, getting the hands not to lead the movement, so that the hands don't do this kind of stuff, but just really feel that you roll the hip through. Roll the hip through. Roll the hip through as you do it. Yeah, just that very first movement. That kind of pulse again from the hip out. That's great. Yeah, good. Now start to feel like a very subtle figure of 8 movement in the hip. So obviously, again, you can do this in a very linear way, where I feel that the body's doing that, so that the body's just basically opening up this way. Feel that the opening is also like the hip, this hip sinking, and the back hip is slightly raising over it. So if you think of a kind of wave over the hip or through the body, think about that. It's subtle. It's not like a big movement, but it's this, and then the sense, just feel that you can continue the movement now as you roll the hip and then roll the leg back this way. But feel it's very, very subtle. It's the same thing we were doing before with the hands back and forward, but just feel that connection comes in, and then you roll it through the hip. Again, you can do really whatever with the hands. You can do the hasso movement. You can just kind of flow with the hands. But the key is really just feel that. Hips, roll it, and then press it back. Yeah, nice. That's it. That's it, nice. Yes. Oh, rabbit, you're in the way. Dodong. Great. I'm gonna kill your rabbit. Okay, great. Go to the first 𝗧𝗪𝗡 with this. So working with the strike. So you roll the hip back. If you can come up to the ceiling and go to it. I can no. And then strike in with it. Then again, it's a continuation of that roll of the hip forward, and you're kind of always working with that kind of infinity. Roll it through, and then roll it back and in that way. Rolling back, rolling it in. There. Let it try. See. Actually, just play with the top position where you've got this angle on it, and we'll look at a few variations for this. The first one, it's actually in a way this is where the kin-naga goes anyway, because from here, this is where I'm going to kind of initiate the movement or the strike from. So find that you've got the strike up, or that you've got the jaw up here. Now just keep the hands where they are in this position, and just think that you roll the hip in and down. So okay, you've got that snapping movement that we were doing before. It's right at the end here as you find the strike. So you're going to roll up into the hasso. Just keep the hands down so the thumbs point together, and you drop in, and you're snapping the end of the jaw basically. So it's rolling up to that 45-degree position, and then you just roll the hip in and snap it forward. And you could use the strike for anything. You can strike the top of the head, you can strike the arm, you can get the elbow, you can go onto the clavicle. This is a really kind of versatile movement, but anywhere on that line down, there's a strike basically. I use this. We use this a lot for jaw work, striking and control. That's it. So, and again, just go back to this all the time, but it's like the only real issue there's lots of issues in this case, but in this case, it's like whether the periphery leads or the center leads, basically. So in this case, it's either that the arms can start it and then the body's trying to follow, or also the feeling that the jaws actually going before the body this way. So just feel in this case, again, that sense that you can kind of pulse through the body, but feel that the center's actually connecting in, and then the arms get dragged, pulled down into it. So play with that connection, but make it really clear what's kind of initiating it. This, I can go the hand and the body starts to come out, or I can bring the whole body down and forwards. It's just making this clear. It's like whether you'll feel the difference in weight, and the weight will feel the feedback of whether you can really apply weight through the end of the jaw. Good. Okay, good. And then we'll just play with the Kinnagai form, and it's a nice one. Do this slowly, but you can kind of build this up to full speed if you like. So you start in this position as the same. You roll into the hasa. I continue down into it, and then I just roll back into 𝗬𝗏𝗡𝗏 in this one. You could roll back into 𝗬𝗏𝗡𝗏, but 𝗬𝗏𝗡𝗏 is actually better. And then you roll it back, and then you roll it in, and then you're back. You roll it back, you roll it in, and then you're back. Roll it in, roll it back, and then you're back. This one's a nice one because that right hand just basically stays in place. It doesn't really shift on the joke too much. Apart from that very first move, which you start from 𝗬𝗏𝗡𝗏. It's there, rolls, rolls, rolls. So that's the last few. You can kind of loosen out. Wow, that's so nice. That's so nice. Wow. Great.
Yeah.
So nice. Good. And then the last go, just really give yourself freedom to play with the angle. So you're going to find a new angle every time you find the hasa. So roll back into that hasa. This step you could also do with movement, but it's actually easier just to kind of roll through. Now, as you go back into kamae, you can also change the position, or you can change the position in the hasa movement. So you can kind of roll the body through it. So you've got a few places where you can change the direction. You can change it in the striking part. You can change it in the kamae part. You can change it in the hasa part. Or you can really be free with it and just roll with it anyway. Just allow the body to kind of change. Roll with it. Oh, the rabbit's going to get it. Hello. 4. 1. Yo. Yeah. Push. That's it. Very nice. That's all right. Good. Very good. Great. Perfect. Okay. Very good. We're going to stop there. So this is this figure 8 pattern. So this is a very useful movement. You can do this with anything. So, great. どうもありがとうございました。
どうもありがとうございました。
Okay, great. There we go.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Okay.